Hey friends, welcome back to this episode, and I'm just so grateful once again to be sharing this time with you. I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for the support that you've given to my business, the podcast, the vlog this year, and I hope that it has truly been a source for you to go and find information to help you live a more holistic lifestyle with ease. So as of the recording of this episode, it is the day after the Thanksgiving weekend. And one of the things I think that comes up very often in some unhealthy, self punishing ways is how to recover from vacations, holidays, family gatherings, work parties, whatever the case may be. How to recover from these times where we are perhaps indulging a bit more than we typically would, maybe not maintaining a healthy routine or having the best habits during those times of travel or different sorts of outings and get-togethers that we might be having. So today I wanted to give you 4 tips for how to recover from holidays. Let's just keep it simple and we'll just say holidays. So my first thing that I want to say before I get into the meat and potatoes of this episode is that I think it's really, really important to preface all of this by making sure that when we're talking about recovering from a holiday, that we are not doing this in a self-punishing way, that we're not doing this in a shaming way. I think a lot of times we think, oh, well, I binged over the holiday, now I need to purge, now I need to go on a diet, now I need to, try to make up for my quote-unquote sins. And that is not at all what I am saying. I believe if you want to celebrate, go ahead and celebrate and do it with a sense of thanksgiving and joy and without guilt. And then when you get back into quote unquote normal life, I also want to invite you to look at anything that I suggest to you at any point as a way to love and care for yourself rather than as a way to punish yourself. So that needs to be a big paradigm shift for a lot of us from the get-go. I used to really struggle with this. And what made it worse for me is that I was so reactive to so many of the things that I was eating or drinking during a vacation or holiday season that not only would I have that gross feeling when I would get back to normal life, I would feel sluggish, I would feel weighed down by toxicity, I would feel out of sorts, out of routine, not sleeping well. I would then go down a shame spiral. And that shame spiral would look like, oh my gosh, my body is out of control. I just gained 10 pounds overnight. I need to deprive myself. I need to restrict myself. I need to overexercise. And it was this very, very unhealthy pattern. And I share that because I think that's something that a lot of us are dealing with. It's something that a lot of us are going through, even if just on a mental and emotional level of maybe how we're speaking to ourselves after we are on a vacation or a holiday. And I think that there's a thought there, an underlying false narrative, if you will, that if we are using negative reinforcement, that we will be more successful in following a healthy routine. I thought that if I punished myself, I was going to be more likely to stick to things and also more likely to see success. And in fact, the complete opposite has shown itself to be true. And I have also found that when I approach my health from a standpoint of self-care, but I don't mean that in a platitudinal sort of way. I mean that in a very deep spiritual way, that when I care for my body, this temple that I live within, I'm really honoring creation and my part in it and the gifts that I've been given. That is a very different place to come to. And that's been a big journey for me to reach that. But I can honestly say that between that mindset shift and then also some of the tips that I'm going to give you today, I face my vacations and my holiday season now knowing that I'm going to maintain better balance overall. I probably am not going to go as overboard as I used to. And when I do enjoy some indulgences, I'm not in this guilt cycle afterwards. Having said that, anytime that we are overindulging, maybe we're exposed to extra stress during a vacation or a holiday, or maybe we have had a little bit more to drink, maybe we've eaten a little bit more sweets, what naturally happens is that our body gets a little bit bogged down. And add to that, we might not be sleeping normal sleeping patterns, And we may not be getting enough movement in during those vacations and holidays. So the body just gets a little icky. It gets icky feeling. And I woke up this morning kind of with some of that icky feeling and feeling a little bit down and feeling a little bit like, ugh. But then I remembered, no, I actually did take care of myself through that holiday. And I know how to get myself back up on my feet in terms of overcoming just feeling like my body needs a chance to catch up. So the 4 tips that I'm going to give you today are all about working with your body, advocating for your body, giving your body honor and care by how you are going to approach caring for it. So tip number 1 is to get back into a healthy routine as quickly as possible. This might actually be the most challenging thing that I suggest to you, because when you're in that icky feeling, it can be really hard to be like, okay, I got to get back to my movement. I got to get back to eating nutrient-dense foods. I need to get back to getting off the sugar a little bit more, or I'm not going to be drinking during the, whatever it is for you, whatever your goals are, whatever you're looking to maintain or improve. It can be hard to be like, oh, well, I have to get back on the horse now. I want to offer to you a perspective shift even with that. Look at your daily routine as the best tool that you have to leverage yourself into a better mindset, and in so doing, into a better body. And when you can get yourself back into your normal, healthier routine, it is amazing how quickly you start to feel like everything's going to be okay, because you suddenly realize, oh, I'm empowered by doing this. I'm empowered by having a healthier routine. And that means I get to choose. I get to choose how I get to show up for myself and for others today. I get to choose the energy and the emotions that I'm going to embrace. I get to choose how I'm treating my body here going forward. And I'm also thankful for the times that I've had to celebrate, to kick back and relax. So what I did this morning is I sat down with my planner, as I do every Monday morning, and I decided what my healthy habits are going to be for the week, and I planned my meals, and I planned my routine, and I planned my workouts. For me, planning is half the battle. Once I know when things need to happen, it's very easy for me to implement. So you need to figure out what works for you in terms of routine and establishing healthy routines, and maybe what you need is an accountability partner to get you back up and going, or maybe you need a group support system of some kind, of people that are working on similar goals, are working on that 1% improvement every day. Whatever it is for you, whatever you like to do for healthy habits, do it. What this does not look like is, oh crap, I ate a bunch of pie last weekend and that means that I need to do double workouts all week long at the gym. That is not what I'm talking about at all. What I'm talking about is something very different from that. Whatever you normally do to care for yourself, get back into that routine. So that's tip number 1, get back into a healthy routine as quickly as possible. Second tip that I have is to hydrate. And of course, everybody talks about this, but I like to add a little twist with mine. It's hydration and it's alkalization. So what that looks like for me is drinking a lot of warm teas and beverages, just to kind of give my body a little bit of a tonic approach and a little bit of a chance to just slowly absorb liquid rather than drinking a whole bunch of cold water really fast that just runs right through you. But it also looks like replacing electrolytes and adding in some green drinks. Now, the reason that I say this is because hydration is not just about drinking water. It's about replacing mineral. It's about replacing electrolyte. If you've been drinking, if you've been eating saltier foods or sweeter foods than normal, if you've been on an airplane, if you've been in a car, any of those things have the potential to be quite dehydrating. And the dehydration itself is one of the things that is to blame for that sense of hangover that we sometimes experience when we've enjoyed too much wine or whatever. So I like to look at hydration as more than just drinking more water. It's how and at what temperature I drink my water, and then adding in some really healthy electrolytes, trace minerals, and green drink to that. which is exactly what I'm going to be doing as soon as I'm done with this podcast. I love to make sure before I hit that late afternoon energy slump that I am getting ahead of that with some electrolytes, B vitamins, and a green drink. In the show notes to this, I'll be posting links to the products that I use to help to address the hydration issue. And I feel like that's all I really need to say about it, because we all know that we need to hydrate and we all know that we need to drink more water. But that's a challenge for many of us for a variety of reasons. When you can add in some beautiful flavor and some extra nutrients into your liquid intake, it can make the process of hydration and rehydration a lot more enjoyable as well. What I find when I start to rehydrate is all of a sudden I start to feel the light comes back on in my eyes. I start to notice that I'm not feeling so sluggish. I start to notice that some of my energy is coming back. And it's a very simple thing that we can do right away to get ourselves back on track. So that's tip number 2, is hydration, and hydration happens in a specific way. Tip number 3, oh gosh. So this is one of my very favorite things that I'm currently in a deep dive about, and that is liver supporting herbs. So I have training in herbalism. I'm also currently going through another course that is more on the Western herbalist side. And from both the Eastern and Western tradition, I've learned the importance of supporting the liver and the kidneys, but especially when it comes to vacations, when it comes to travel, when it comes to celebrations. Our liver gets dumped on even more than normal. And it's not just from the food that we're eating, and it's not just from the things that we're drinking. It's also from other toxins. It could be from the fumes of the airplane exhaust, which I personally struggle with a lot. It could be from Aunt Joan's scented candles that are filled with lots of toxic endocrine disrupting chemicals. It could be from a lot of different places. Even for me, when I walk into someone's home and they have plug-in air fresheners, I feel physically sick from that, and it's because my liver is not able to keep up with processing and eliminating those toxic exposures. And I submit that when we are in these seasons, this is perhaps the time when our livers are the most overtaxed. So what I like to do is make sure that I'm supporting my liver while I'm on a vacation or having a celebration with liver supporting herbs. And then I like to give my body a little bit of a break through my fourth tip, which is intermittent fasting. And then also really doubling down on some liver supportive and liver detoxification herbs. What does that look like? Well, the very first thing that I do when I get up in the morning is an old Ayurvedic routine, which is to have warm water with a fresh half of a lemon and some fresh ginger in it. It is incredible. It's hydrating, it's energizing, it clears my head, and it has been known to help support liver health. I personally feel that it starts to help my liver get on top of its natural detoxification process really quickly. That's just my intuition. I have no scientific proof of that. It's just what I feel like my body's telling me it's doing when it gets that little boost in the morning. Then, depending on how my day is going to go, I will have a couple of different things to help support my liver with its natural detoxification. Liver supportive herbs tend to be barks and roots. They are parts of the plant that get deep into the earth. They have a lot of stored nutrient, micronutrient, vitamins, minerals, that type of thing within them. And the liver is very, very desperate for those things at all times because it has so many different functions that it has to perform within the body. And it needs those building blocks, those materials, in order to function at its best. When we've traveled, when we've been stressed, when we've been overindulging, we actually go through a process of leaching some of that out of our system because the liver needs extra of it to try to keep up. So I like to then replace that by making sure I'm getting some of that nutrient back into my system. And I do that with teas primarily. Right now I have a dandelion root tea that I use almost every day about this time. It's a mixture of dandelion and chicory root. And those two roots have been used for scadillions of years to help support healthy liver process. Some people would even go so far to say as they are detoxifying herbs, that they even help the liver to detoxify itself. And then I also like to make a tonic that has other liver supportive herbs. So yellow dock, curly dock, marshmallow root, even something like nettles can be put in there. These are very nutrient dense herbs that when you use them as a tea or especially as a decoction, they are going to replace a lot of that mineral, and it's going to give your liver a chance to catch up. It's going to give your liver some extra love, and we call that tonic. It means it tonifies the liver tissue itself. It helps the liver tissue to be healthier, and when the liver tissue is healthier, that means you are healthier. So liver supportive herbs. There is a particular herbal elixir that I've used for a number of years that is a mixture of all of these different liver supportive herbs along with aloe vera to help to soothe the digestive tract, which is another part of our body that gets really stressed from celebrations, travel, and etc. So that is something that I will often use right before bed. I will mix that up and have it as a warm tea. So I'm going to put a link in the show notes to that product as well. It is something that is easy. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to mix your own teas. You don't have to source your own herbs. It's just a canister that comes to your door, and you can take a scoop of it, mix it with warm water, and enjoy that before bed every night. And what's really great about that is that at night, your body's naturally in a fasted state. And when the body's in a fasted state, it's already primed to go into spring cleaning mode. When we give the body the right nutrients that it needs for the spring cleaning mode, then it's like you just brought the cleaning products to the spring cleaning party, basically. So when I use these liver supporting herbs, I notice a couple of things. I notice that I'm not feeling sluggish. I don't feel like icky, dirty. I don't feel as heavy emotionally either. I feel that the liver supportive herbs help me to have a better emotional homeostasis, and I think it's just simply because my body is less stressed when it has the inputs it needs to be able to take care of itself better. So I really love these on an ongoing basis, and many tonic herbs, the longer you take them, the more your body will do with them, the better you will feel on them. So that's a really exciting class of herbs, those liver supporting herbs. And by the way, a lot of them also are going to be supportive to your kidneys, another major liver detox or another major body detoxification organ. And many of them are also going to be supportive to healthier digestion because a lot of them have bitter components, which helps with bile flow. It helps with your gallbladder function. And a lot of those things will also impact having healthier blood sugar levels. So, that's a lot of things that the liver can help us do. And there's so many more things besides that. But that kind of touches on some of the stresses that the liver goes through during a vacation or a celebration or a holiday and how we can support it from an herbal standpoint. And then my fourth tip for you is something I mentioned briefly a few minutes ago, and that is to do some intermittent fasting. And again, I want to say that this is not to instill any kind of a cycle of binging and purging in your mind or your body about enjoying yourself with food and drink. And I will say that if that's where you are right now, that it's possible that doing too much intermittent fasting could reinforce a negative perspective on this. So I would first encourage you to listen again to the first part of this podcast about having a perspective shift, in that any of these things I'm suggesting are not a way to punish yourself and to shame yourself, but they are instead a way that we can work with the body and the body's natural processes as part of nature to get a better natural result. One of those things that has an enormous amount of scientific support now and growing all the time is the practice of intermittent fasting. That means that you're going to leave your body in a fasted state for more than just 12 hours at a time. Now, that's about the amount that most of us are getting every night when we sleep. We get, about 12 hours in a fasted state where our body can do some of those. It's like you're going around your house and you're just doing some tidying. But when we can go into intermittent fasting, this is like cleaning out the junk drawer or deep cleaning a room or maybe washing your windows. It's allowing your body to get deeper into that cleansing phase. It's called autophagy. And there are different ways that you can achieve this, but basically it means increasing the window where you are not eating. So one of the things that I like to do after holiday weekend is a 16/8 intermittent fasting for the week, which means for 16 hours of the day, I'm in a fasted state where I'm also using those liver supporting herbs, by the way. And then for the 8 hours, that's where I'm going to fit in all of my food for the day. I find this very easy to do, very achievable in a variety of settings, in a variety of lifestyles. But when I really feel like I need a reset, when I really feel like, oh man, I was just around some stuff this weekend that I know my body was really struggling with, or when I really want to amplify the results that I'm getting from intermittent fasting in terms of energy, in terms of mental clarity, in terms of really resting my digestion, I will go longer. I will go for 24 to 48 hours of a fasted state, during which time I am using those liver supporting herbs. I am taking my vitamins. I'm not doing this to deplete my body. I'm doing this to give my body a chance to catch up a little bit and to also replenish some of that natural energy, some of that human growth hormone that's anti-aging. I mean, there's so many amazing things that happen when you intermittent fast. So that would be kind of the fourth tip that's more like a cherry on top, is incorporating a little bit of intermittent fasting for a week or longer after you've had a long vacation or a holiday weekend or a big celebration of some kind. So those four things: the first is to get back into a healthy routine as soon as possible. The second is to hydrate, and hydrate looks like a very specific thing in this context. The third is those liver supportive herbs, and there'll be much more information on this in the future. And then the fourth is practicing some intermittent fasting to allow your body a chance to catch up, to do some repair, and to replenish some of your natural energy and mental clarity, giving you a little bit of anti-aging boost, which I'm sure most of us appreciate. So that's what I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining me. If you liked this, please like, comment, subscribe, save, share. Hit that notification bell for future notifications of all vlogs. And if you are on your podcast app, I always appreciate those 5-star reviews. It helps me to reach more people who are looking to live a more holistic lifestyle, but to do that with ease. I will see you next time.